Hey guys, welcome back to Gideon Stuff, and today we're wrapping up Cheap Knife Week, Volume 2. In this volume of Cheap Knife Week, we attempted to look at 5 knives under $30 that might be appealing to people that are new to the knife community, who are maybe just starting their collections and, don't really have a lot of money to spend, but they want to get some different things. 4 of these knives I chose because of brand recognition. Those are, of course, the Kershaw, the Camillus, the Gerber, and the K-Bar. Now, all 4 of these brands are kind of legendary. They've got a reputation of being the go-to knife brands for different things. K-Bar is well known for their marine fighting knife. Camillus has been around forever. A lot of people, associate the Camillus brand with long-standing quality. Kershaw is a brand that a lot of people recognize as being just good all-around knife makers, and Gerber is a brand that also has that long-standing reputation of being, a producer of quality knives. And so all 4 of these brands, I think, are kind of appealing to new-time collectors who want to get their hands on good knives from well-known companies, but don't want to spend a lot of money. This knife I chose because of the axis lock. Something that a lot of collectors might be wanting to try out when they're first getting into the hobby are these different locks. And the axis lock has a reputation as, being one of the kind of coolest, most unique locks. And I know when I was first getting into the hobby, I really, really wanted to try out an axis lock. And so that's why this guy is on the list. So I've carried all these knives. I've used all these knives. You guys have seen the reviews. Let's go ahead and rank them from worst to best. Remember, all these are in kind of the same price category. So it's going to be interesting to see what we come up with. Obviously, the best one is the Gerber Swagger. Yeah, I'm just kidding. This is the worst one by a long shot. Now, I have a special place in my heart for Gerber. I love Gerber. I have a lot of their knives that mean a lot to me. But, I want to start seeing them making some, at least Kershaw quality knives at this price point. This knife is not just a bad knife, it's a literal waste of money. And, that's hard to say. It hurts my heart, but this is not a good knife at all. It just isn't. We've got lock rock for days, even though the lock bar is over at 110%. The build quality is just flimsy. Access to the lock bar is not good. The blade is a subpar steel that is sharpened by an autistic monkey. It's not a good knife. And the weird thing is during this review, the review of this knife, we looked at online review, like customer reviews of this knife, and a lot of people absolutely loved it. And it's kind of sad to think that for some people, knives like this are the pinnacle of quality. And I know people like that. I used to be a person like that. If I had gotten this knife when I was 15 years old, I would have used it on the ranch, helping my dad and grandpa with stuff, and I would have thought, oh yeah, this is fantastic. Open it up, it's got that rattle and that blade play. I would have been like, oh well, that's just because it's a folding knife. It's not a fixed blade, so of course it's going to be blade play. And then I would have sharpened it until the blade fell apart. Would use it until it just fallen apart. And be like, well, yeah, that's just what knives do. And then, because I did that a lot with knives when I was younger. And now that I know that, hey, some knives are well made. They will stay together forever. It really is something to... I wish everyone who carried knives like this, I wish I could just magically snap my fingers and replace this knife with like a Kubi or something. you know, just so they can see the difference. But yeah, this is by far the worst knife we reviewed for Cheap Knife Week this time around. But I will say, and tell me in the comments below, should I do a I reviewed or I EDC'd blank for 2 weeks with this knife? Because reading all those positive comments about this knife, it got me thinking, you know, maybe I should, because I did not carry this knife very much because it was just that bad, but maybe I should give it a chance. Maybe I should actually carry it and nothing else for a while and see what happens. Probably will make me cry. It'll probably be miserable, but let me know in the comments below if you think that's a good idea, whether I should do that. So, this knife, it's getting last place. Just, not only is it not recommendable, it's just not a good knife, and it's probably unsafe. You can see, look how wavy that tip is. That's just weird. But yeah, piece of junk, if we're being completely honest. Moving on, in the next position, this is hard. I'm gonna be honest. This is hard. Now here's what we've got to choose from. Now a lot of you might be thinking that, oh, the K-bar should automatically get it because, you know, we had the whole lock failure issue. But again, that happened when I was doing stuff that you probably shouldn't do with a $25 back lock. You know, before it failed, it actually surprised me with how well it cut. Like, this blade was done extremely well, in my opinion. But we are going to put this one next because, I mean, it's just so heavy. Yeah. I mean, we do have to take the failure into consideration, especially, yeah. But yeah, this one is next. It's very heavy, very bulky, but I mean, it was well made. And if you don't do stupid stuff with it, for 25 bucks, this is a great, like, workbox, toolbox knife. You know, I can tell they put some work into designing this thing, you know, with the scallops on the G10, reversible clip, but it is gonna go here. And again, that kind of hurts, but I mean, I think it's a good knife for the money, but I do think these other ones are a little bit better. So, not a whole lot more to say about that one. Okay, now we're getting to the hard parts, because these three knives are all excellent for the money. They are excellent. This is tough. This is really tough. I don't know how to rank these ones because they're all very, very good. So I just want to say right now, whatever way the ranking comes out to be, these three knives here are all really, really good. Jeez, man, this is hard. Okay, wow. I think next we're gonna put... I think next we're gonna go with the Camillus Voracious. Gosh, I like this knife a lot. I really, really do. This is a very cool, very weird, but useful knife. I'm just putting it here because, I don't know, plastic scales, and it looks a little bit funky. This lanyard hole is not my favorite thing. The blade to handle ratio is way off. It does have the best action out of anything we reviewed for Cheap Knife Week Volume 2, though. Like, that detent is dialed. The bearings are nice. But yeah, we're going to put it next. Still, fantastic knife, though. Fantastic knife. It gets a recommendation. Between these two. Jeez. Ah, man. You know, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I think the Kershaw comes next. I mean, it's a Hinder design, and it's awesome. But I will say, I think like the all stainless steel version ones that are most common, they just don't feel as good as this Blade HQ exclusive. And I mean, it's assisted. Although I don't really mind the assist, if I'm being honest. It is a small knife, though, and I just gravitate towards larger knives. So I guess that's why it's going to be next. Again, though, like these last three, personal preference is going to come down to, to the individual user. But yeah, this one is the best. I'm going to say that this one won Cheap Knife Week. Why? Because it is just such a beast. Because you are getting so much fun and so much utility for your money. Axis lock, big, capable blade, good build quality. A little bit stupid with the clip. The clip is kind of, I can tell they didn't really think that out too well. But, yeah, I'm going to put this one in first place. The action was great out of the box. It's just continued to get better. Solid lockup. A knife I'm not afraid to use hard. It's got good blade performance. Good enough ergonomics if you can, get around that clip. Yeah, there we go. Although, again, these three were really hard to rank. I honestly, if you want to put this one in first, I wouldn't argue. If you want to put this one in first place, I wouldn't argue with you either. But there we go. Here's what we came up with for Cheap Knife Week Volume 2. We looked at some very different, very unique knives. And, here's some of the stuff you can get for under $30. And, there is a lot more in that price tier that I think a lot of reviewers think about. I don't think a lot of reviewers focus on this tier because, we automatically assume there's nothing good there. But, I'm fascinated by this kind of category. And, there are a lot of good knives around the $30 price point that, reviewers do take a look at, such as like USP Penguin, which I've thought about including in Cheap Knife Week, but I've already reviewed it and stuff. The CGRB Feldspar, not this particular version, but a lot of them come in around the $35 price point. You can sometimes get Kubies in that price point. Again, not that one. Petrified Fish makes some knives in that category, but, some people don't want to order online, right? And so I think it's really interesting, even though like this knife came from online, but I think it's really interesting to find knives that people might find at their local hardware store to and give those a review. Especially since a lot of the former go-to budget knife brands like Civivi are getting consistently more expensive. And, you can still get good deals from Civivi, like the Praxis, $42 and stuff. And, the Rats, these are in that $35 price range. But I think there's a lot of interesting stuff that goes on in this price range that a lot of people just kind of overlook. And I think that's a shame because, heck, when I got into the knife community, like, the first knife I thought I needed to get to, enjoy the hobby was a Benchmade Bug Out, but it was way outside my budget at the time. And so, you look for things that are in your budget, but you think will still give you the fizz. And so you look for the Gerber, Camillus, Kershaw, K-Bar, brands that, that's associated with quality. You want to get things that are, like you've never tried before. The axis lock. You want to experience these things that all your favorite knife reviewers on YouTube go on and on about. So, excuse me, again, still sick, still kind of getting over it. The motorcycle just drove by. But, here are some knives I took a look at. We will probably do a cheap knife week again, eventually. But, from the 2 cheap knife weeks that we've done, something I've learned is Camillus is killing it in this price tier. Camillus is absolutely killing it. In the next cheap knife week we'll do, maybe we'll give Gerber another shot. Maybe we'll try another random Kershaw. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Do you buy knives in this price tier a lot? What are some that you think I should check out? Do you agree with my listing? And, yeah. Until then, I've been Gideon. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I've got to say that because, reviewer stuff. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Adios.